Look, we stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for work, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on the hook.
Look, harvesting not bodies, harvesting not organs. Got 'em real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello. Welcome to another Malcolm Make a Culture Move podcast, where we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends. We're your host, Mark Jonathan.
I'm Tabitha. I don't know if I'm breaking up, y'all. I look a little... Things are getting a little weird.
Just a little bit, Tab, just a little bit.
And as always, we have a wonderful podcast for you all today. But before we get started, if we could have our brief disclaimer.
So, here at the Make a Culture Move podcast, we cover a lot of intense social topics that are very controversial to some, but very enlightening to others. Just want to say, y'all, we are the experts around these parts. You know what I'm saying? When the experts want information, oftentimes, they come to us for that information. Why I threw that country accent in there, I don't really know.
I was about to say.
Right. Alabama came out.
But yes.
Absolutely. So as you guys can see in the title, we're talking about the mentality that we have and how it's destructive. Let's go ahead and hop right into it.
All right. So I'm not the lead on this one, but I did try to put together a few questions for us to start off with before we just dive into this video that we want to show you guys. We want to base it on some things and talk about some stuff before we get into it. So one of the questions that I formulated based on stuff that I looked at was, why is it that our culture, as we understand it today, is hurting our people? Why is that? Why do y'all think it's hurting us, as to oppose of benefiting us? Because if you look at the way the society's set up, they ride our trends. Everything around these parts is created by us, for us. But as of today, it's hurting us. And I would just like to know why y'all think that is.
Mark, you want to tackle this first?
Shoot, I can. Well, I mean, so I feel like it's hurting us. Since we were brought to this continent, you feel me? They made it a real issue to divide us. You feel me? And it seems like we can't really get past that division. Just to make a long point short, you feel me? I feel like it's the division that was instilled in us that is hurting us today, if that makes sense. How y'all feel about that?
I agree with that. Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that. That's a great question, Tab. I think, as far as, today's times go, everything stems from slavery. Absolutely. Everything stems from slavery. The destructiveness of our people, of our community stems from slavery. But right now, today, what's really hurting our culture is the music. All right. That's what's hurting our culture right now today. In the current times, I feel like it is our music. It's who is putting our music out there, the artists. The music has changed. Once upon a time, you had to have real talent. You have to have some real talent for a music label or an industry to even be interested in you. And so, nowadays it's all you gotta have is a nice beat and maybe a nice voice.
Or look attractive.
Look attractive, sex sells. You gotta be sexy, on both ends of the market, the female spectrum and the male spectrum. So that's what I would say, as of currently right now today, I would say music is a huge, which amongst other things, but music is a huge benefactor because it's such a big influence to almost everything else.
Okay. Okay. So I would say this as far as like, what is hurting our culture. I think what's hurting us the most is the lack of discipline. We have no discipline. I think that when it comes to, other people that listen to our music or, follow what we're doing as far as like our hairstyles, what we wear, the things that we say, because there's certain things that we say that other people pick up in certain lingo that people pick up and say also that we do. I think that what it is we lack discipline. They have discipline. And discipline has been instilled in them for generations and generations. So it's because of that they're able to watch and listen to the things that we watch and listen to, and it doesn't affect them in the way that it affects us. And I like this point that was made by Deloitte. Oh, I hope I'm saying that. Deloitte Reynolds. He said they sold us an image that we buy with Black lives.
That's an interesting point.
I definitely agree with that. They sell us our image. You know what I'm saying? FUBU was us, right? It was for
us, by us.
For us, by us. A lot of the stuff that Tommy Hilfiger ended up doing, we started that, you know what I'm saying? And because of our low estate and where we are, they ended up taking it and flipping it and selling it for hundreds of dollars. They took that image and now they're selling it back to us. And because, for whatever reason, like the price tag equates to the value that we put into what something is. When you can easily go out and about, get the fabric, come home, sew it together, and it'll look the exact same. So I'm just like, but people would rather go buy those expensive things from those people because of
the name brand behind it and the price tag attached to it makes the quality seem like it's that much better.
For real. I used to say this thing, niggas buy stuff because it costs money. Yeah. And at the surface, like people like, of course you buy stuff because it costs money, but that's not really what I'm saying. They buy it because of the name and all that behind it. Like Yeezy, like I know a whole bunch of people with holes in their clothes, but Yeezy makes it on purpose and it's sold for thousands. Like
now it's a fashion statement. At first it was a struggling statement, like, damn, I got holes in my clothes, I'm struggling, I'm not doing too good in life right now. And now it's like a fashion statement, like, oh, look at me, I got holes in my clothes, I'm on top of the world, living my best life. Like, no, I would never.
Exactly.
I don't even I don't know. It just says it says a lot about us as a people though. Our struggle, they flip that and turn it into like something else, to
profit.
They profit
struggle and they flip it and turn it into profit.
They profit off our pain. And that's something. So so that just kind of is something that is a premise question. So I got another question, and it kind of goes into what we're just talking about. Other races and nationalities can borrow, ride trends, and or follow our culture norms created by our people that negatively affect us. But why doesn't it affect them the same way? So flipping the coin, we talked about a little bit how it affects us and what we do, but why don't you think that it's affecting them the same way that it's affecting us?
Go ahead, G.
That's a good question, Tab. Because it's not their culture. Because it's not their culture. So, they get to appropriate and be impressionable onto something that doesn't belong to them. So because it doesn't belong to them, they didn't put the blood, sweat, and tears, energy, the fight into having it. It's not much of a bother for them that it's being appropriated by anybody else. So it's it's not their culture. It's not their culture. They don't care enough to be hurt by the impression that it's giving off, whereas that's our culture. So it's like we're watching it in front of our eyes be flipped and turned into profit, when for some of us, like us here with Malcolm, that bothers the hell out of us. Like, how are you going to profit off of our struggle? Like, but we're not profiting off of our struggle. We're still struggling, but yet everybody else in the world seems to be able to profit off of it and live, you know, however they want to. You know, you look at the Kardashians, like Kim have posted a while back, you know, her hands, one when it was tanned and then her regular skin tone. And it's like, you know, y'all purposely tan your bodies, give butt injections, lip injections, boob injections, all these things to, you know,
Look like us.
But because it's not really your struggle or pain, they'll never be able to feel the way that we feel about certain things, and that it's just not their culture. They don't give a damn.
What you say, Mark? What you say?
I mean, it goes back to, other podcasts where we've mentioned how the influence that we have, you feel me, and how great it is. You feel me? They'll ride the trend. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said twin. They'll ride the trend, but they won't take part in the struggle. You know, from what you mentioned earlier, from our hairstyles to the clothes we wear, like, of course, like, they see our swag, our natural swag. You feel me? So they'll do their best to copy. But where the problem lies is we don't receive any of the benefits from it. You feel me?
Right.
And it's all what G said.
Right. My personal feelings is they want the clout, but not the skin. They want the clout that comes with the skin, but they don't want the skin itself, because they know the negative annotations that are attached to being Black. You know what I'm saying? Because you're Black, you're lazy. Because you're Black, you steal. Because you're Black, you're a
savage, you're a threat.
Yeah, you're a savage, you're a threat. There's all this other stuff that's attached to what being Black is and what it means. But when it comes to our white or Caucasian I'm not even gonna put it on just white people, because Asians do it too. When you walk in the store, they be watching you. Indian people, West Indian, not East Indian, but West Indian people do the same thing. I think that what it is that the reason why it doesn't really affect them is because at the end of the day, they took our culture, but they still have a sense of identity and who they are. Because we lack identity, and because we don't really have a purpose. Unfortunately, I hate to say that we don't have a purpose, but that's what it is at the end of the day. We don't have a purpose. We don't have an identity. And because we don't have purpose or identity or discipline, we're not able to, understand what it is that we have to do. Meanwhile, trying to establish and continue to perpetuate trends in society. I think that if there were like single parent households, that it was a societal norm for white people or any other race. If it was a norm for any other race, and we had music like Do the Baby Mama or anything else, anything else. If that was something that we were pushing out there, but that wasn't something that we fell victim to, I think that the results for everybody else would be different. But because it's something that is normalized for us, it's going to continue to hurt us because we make it even more normal. We normalize it. We perpetuate and normalize that behavior when it shouldn't be normalized or perpetuated. So yeah, that's
definitely.
And it's like, wait, as everyone else needs to appropriate our culture, they still get to pull their white card or their Asian card. We can never not be Black. But they get in a situation, they get pulled over. You may be tanned enough to where you might slightly look like you're light skin or you're mixed, but you pull out that ID and your identification card, that race section or that ethnic section says white. You're off the hook. The cops don't even give a damn what you did anymore. It's like, oh, sorry, you thought you were Black now. Oh, but you're not.
Right.
going about your business. They can always pull their white card at any given moment. At any given moment, they can always say, "Oh wait, but I'm white." We can never say I'm not black. It shows.
Right.
It shows.
Absolutely. And just to kind of touch on, you know, the whole Kim Kardashian and them putting on darker makeup, that blackface has been around for a long time, yo. Blackface has always been around. That thing, like you could look and appear to be black, but not be black. I don't understand it. I understand what they were doing back then, but what they're doing now is trying to appeal to they want to feel what it's like to be black at the end of the day. I don't know if you guys heard J. Cole's song about that one, I forget what the artist's name was, but he was like, people listen to your music to know how it feels to be black. You know, I forget what the little dude's name was. But anyway, at the end of the day, like look at Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's just a random example. I can't remember the name of the dude's name, who he was coming for. Cannot remember. But if you look at
Tekashi, for a lot of people.
Who? J. Cole?
Oh no, 6ix9ine. I thought she was still talking about 6ix9ine.
He came for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, if you look at the culture and the people that follow him, oftentimes it's a lot of white kids, you know what I'm saying? If you know anything about Suicide Boys, the Suicide Boys is this white rap / hard rock / like they be rapping, but it's like listen to their name, Suicide Boys. You can hear who they're trying to appeal to. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Our culture's dope and everything until we do it, because you know we're doing what we say. We're not just saying it. We're doing it, and that's the negative part.
Contradiction.
Yeah. See. This is exactly what I'm trying to say right here. Purpose, identity, discipline. How do we create this in our community in the next generation? That's a good question. That is a good question. I'm gonna let y'all answer it. Oh, Mark.
Okay. So we have to find a sense of community again. You know, we don't have that sense of community anymore, and that's what makes a lot of what we're trying to build, the purpose, the identity, the discipline, hard, because that sense of community is gone. It's like, you know, Black people are not for Black people. And, you know, we always touch on Black Lives Matter, but the hardest conversation to have is Black on Black crime. Black lives can't matter to any other culture, race, whatever, until they matter to Black people. And they don't matter to Black people because we don't want to have the conversation about Black on Black crime.
Absolutely.
And community. We have to rebuild our community. We have to rebuild the love for each other. We have to break that divide and that division that Mark was talking about earlier, because it's so huge. Like we just have to get back to what Black people were about before the crack epidemic. Because once they plagued our communities with drugs and guns, and brainwashed the dealers into thinking that they were in control of the drugs and the gun, when really that wasn't the case. And it flipped the way how gangs were operated in the community. Like gangs, once upon a time, they were community protectors. You feel me? They policed the community. They kept the community safe and in control. And it wasn't a color battle thing, and it wasn't even a community battle thing either. It wasn't a battle thing. It was a protecting Black people thing. It was protecting the neighborhood that you're in, the community that you're in, type of thing. And then drugs and guns got plagued into our community, and that's when it flipped, because it's like, who got the most drugs? Who got the most guns? Don't be selling on my corner. And it flipped the entire identity of Black people from having young Black Panthers fighting for the policing of our own communities and our rights and our protection, to faithfully and willingly killing each other on damn near a day-to-day basis. Damn near.
Mark?
Sure, I definitely agree with what's been said. I mean, definitely, I like what my brother Deloitte, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but he said we must unlearn what they taught us. And I think another piece of that is, relearning all that we were. It's kind of what G was saying earlier. You feel me? We were kings and queens. You feel me? Like I understand now, the use of the N-word. People say it's used to uplift. Well, why not call him exactly what he was made to be? You feel me? Call him a king, call her a queen, that type of stuff. You feel me? We just gotta really relearn our value and truly see the value in each other. You feel me? That's where I feel like the disconnect lies. You feel me? Everybody just sees their opposition as, less than, or just an N-word in themselves. You feel me? But nah, I don't. It's all G was saying. You feel me? But when we do have that conversation, we do definitely get into the game beggars and the drug dealers in our music culture. But because of our influence, this is all things that we can change. Absolutely. All these gangbangers and stuff have some of the greatest mentalities. They know how to how actual business works. Like most of these OGs out here know exactly how a business works. But because they choose to wear a hoodie and baggy clothes instead of a white suit, or not a white suit, white shirt and black tie and all that stuff, he's seen as a gangbanger other than a businessman. We can change our influence in the way we do things. We just got to know it for ourselves and then begin to teach the generations behind us.
Well, you expressed some really good points. Really good points. I love G's points. I love Mark's points. My thing is just to kind of address Lorenzo's question: purpose, identity, discipline. I think that that's a little bit out of order. I think that we should first establish and understand our identity. That's our identity before slavery, before we were disenfranchised and, taken aback by being in slavery and being in involuntary servitude here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Once you have an identity, you have a purpose. And once you have a purpose, you know what you got to do in order to get to where you're going. You have to know where you come from to understand where you're going. You know what I'm saying? I've heard older people say that all the time. So once you have an identity, you know who you are, and that gives you a sense of purpose. You then know that you have to become disciplined in order to do what you have to do. If going to Mark's example, if you know that you were created to be a business-minded person, you have that identity. I'm a businessman. That's what I'm meant to do. Your purpose is to establish a business, put things in order to get a business. Then the discipline comes into play because once you have a business, you're put at a certain level of expectations that are expected of you because you do have a business. You have to be open at this time. You have to have this, and this in stock. So you have an identity, you have a purpose, and you have discipline. How do we do that for the next generation? One thing is, before we decide to have kids, this is just on like a micro level. But before you have kids, you need to know who you are. You need to have a sense of identity. Because a lot of times what's wrong with parents is before they even know who they are, they go out and have babies. You know what I'm saying? And they perpetuate that lack of identity to their kids. And then what they try to do is try to figure out who they are while they're raising their kids. It makes no sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. So in order to get our next generation together, because I'll just use myself as an example. I'm 26. I have a sense of identity. I know what it is that I need to do. I know where I want to go, and I know what I want to do. I have an identity. I have a sense of purpose because of that. You know what I'm saying? And because I know what my purpose is, I know I have to be disciplined in order to maintain my purpose and to maintain my identity, to perpetuate those things that were taken from us for so long. People perpetuate things that that lack of identity that they give to their kids. Because growing up, that's a lot of us want to be set apart. We want to be different, but we don't know how to be different. So yeah. And at the Kai's point, Shalom, brother. He said, you don't know your purpose if you don't know your identity. Exactly. You don't know your purpose if you don't know your identity. You need an identity in order to have a purpose. That's just
No. And just to add another point to what you were saying, you feel me? I forget the person. Maybe y'all can help me with it. But he said the two problems that they have is crack and black people. I believe it was a president or something of the sort.
Hoover, I think it was Hoover or something.
One of the two. But he identified two problems in white supremacy: crack and then black people uprising. Like, come on, they know what we're capable of. And they made it a point to make sure that we know that we don't know what we're capable of.
Right.
Feel me? And if you talk to just any person, you feel me? Like, we have these conversations all the time throughout the hood. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, we need to do that. But it's just no follow through.
Do it.
Exactly.
It's do it. It's nothing to do to it, but to do it. You know, it's like, that's it. There's nothing to it but to do it. You know, it's like we look at icons such as, you know, like the Black Panther Party. They weren't in their late 20s, early 30s, 40s. They were kids, teenagers.
Yes, sir.
Teenagers.
Man.
So it's like there's nothing to it but to do it. The kids, you know, in Birmingham and many other places who were getting hosed down by fire hoses and had the dog sick on them, they were from elementary school. Some of those kids were as young as elementary school age, grade school, young. You feel me? It didn't start after high school where they're trying to make it seem like it started for us. They're trying to make it seem like our ancestors started their fight after they got a high school education, when in reality 90% of them didn't even get the opportunity to go to high school or graduate from it. They all started their fights young, way before education came into play, because they didn't have the opportunity to get the education. So they had to go to the streets and figure it out a different kind of way. Yes. Get out, please.
But yeah, so I don't know how many of you guys have seen Judas and the Black Messiah, but I'm telling you, like the thing is, he was trying to give his people a sense of identity. He said he would have them repeat, "I am," and they would say, "A revolutionary. I am a revolutionary." In order for there to be a revolutionary change, our people literally have to have some sense of self. For me, it could even be like on a micro scale, you know what I'm saying, of having that revolutionary change, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, having that sense of community. Because we don't have a sense of community, and really boiling down to the root of that, we don't love ourselves. How could you love yourself? How could you love your community if you don't love yourself? It takes getting down to the root problem, knowing what it is that you need to do as an individual in order to love the person that looks like you. Self-hatred is a real thing in our community. And that's why a lot of times you see our, and this is like a whole nother conversation, but that's why we see a lot of our Black men and Black women with the other races, because there's no love for themselves. You, like back in the day, way back, I'm already white. So I'm thinking, if I have a baby with a white man, my kid will be light, bright, and damn near white. You know what I'm saying? to wash out that hatred, to wash out the hatred that society has for me and that society will have for my child. But at the end of the day, I think that it's a beautiful thing to have, to be who you are, to rock your natural hair. Love everybody on here. We got our natural hair, y'all. You know, it's woolly, it's beautiful. Black is beautiful. And that's that revolutionary mindset, to see yourself as being beautiful, to restore, you know, them proper titles of your identity. You know what I'm saying? So you can have a purpose. Oh my God. Yes. And discipline to come with that.
I agree completely, and it's kind of like what our virtual artist storytelling guest. Her name is not coming to me right now, but she talked about how she felt like she could only amount to poverty, or it was only accustomed. I still cannot remember the words that she used, but that's the mentality that a lot of us have. You feel me? We feel like we can only amount to the lowest level, so we only act accordingly, or we only act on that. But now we're capable of accomplishing much. And they know that. We the only ones that don't. Or at least if we do know that, we're not acting on it.
Right. And I don't think we should because I remember back in the day, y'all, I didn't graduate that long ago, but it feels like I have. But there was this whole wave of Team Natural, you know, and people were trying to make sisters feel empowered by being natural. And me being at such a base state in my mind of like, it's straight hair is the way to go. I would put my sisters down that wanted to rock natural hair. I would put hashtag Team Unnatural, because I'm like, I'm gonna stay unnatural. I don't know what y'all are talking about. There's nothing wrong with having unnatural hair. But I see what they were trying to say. It goes back to like, I'm telling y'all, if you have not seen Judas and the Black Messiah, definitely watch it. The girl that was talking to Huey P. Newton, not Huey P. Newton. Sorry. What is his name? Fred Hampton. I was talking to Fred Hampton. She was like, you can't be beating up on people because they because of the way that they express their Black pride. You have to understand that that's how they express it, wearing their dashikis. You know, what we're talking about now, wearing our natural hair. But what we don't need to be promoting is saying that, you know, just you have a sense of Black pride because you want to wear, you know, you want to be on a music video twerking while somebody's talking about bust it down. Like that's not having a sense of, that's not expressing your Black pride at all. That is just, that's not the wave, man. That is not the wave. That is not the wave. Yeah. But yeah. I'm sorry. To bring in that third question, y'all. I was not expecting to be laughing off that one statement. Okay. So question number 3. How do we wake up our people to the understanding that what they are doing is destructive, not only to themselves, but to their community? We've talked about what it is, but we haven't talked about how do we get other people to see, you know, what they're doing is hurting them and hurting the people around them. How do we do that?
Well, I actually make the argument that a lot of our people do know how destructive it is.
Me too,
You
Mark.
feel me?
I think it's you don't know, you don't show, or you don't give a damn. And I think the main thing here is that people don't give a damn. And it's because they don't love themselves enough to give a damn. So that's what it really boils down to, because I can't comfortably say that our people don't know that the shit that they do is hurting the community and the people around them. I feel like they know very well that what's going on around them is not what's right and what's good for themselves or the community. But it's you don't know, you don't show, or you don't give a damn. So we know. So that's not the problem, because we do know. Most people know. I would say like a good 95% of people know that what's going on is not right for the community. So it's like they don't show and they don't give a damn.
I think another aspect of that is that they got uncomfortable with their circumstances. You feel me? And it's really hard for us to change out of our comfortability. You feel me? Because like we've mentioned this before, like it's very easy to do the wrong things, and it's real uncomfortable to start doing right. So I mean, but like to the point, you feel me? I think it's what you was saying. We just have to start doing now. And if they don't know, then we educate them, and it's what we talked about previously. Telling them or relearning the fact that we were kings and not who they say we are, the slaves and all that. But now we were kings, and we just got to really stand on that. But I would make the argument that a majority of us do know that it's wrong, but it's just that stepping out of it and getting uncomfortable for a change.
Absolutely. I just want to read the small part because it speaks to what G was saying earlier. I'm not going to share my screen or nothing, but it says, if Black lives matter, they have to matter all the time. And Black on Black killing, any killing is unnecessary. They all matter, they said. So this is just speaking to an article that that I was reading on Black crime, because that was one of the things that people say, you want to talk about, it's easy to talk about, when a Black person gets killed by the police because it's another race of people doing it. Like the statistics, as much as, it goes to what, I bring up Kevin Samuels all the time. He said there's all these statistics out here, but people want to not recognize those statistics and lean on their own understanding from their own point of view of how society is set up. So the statistic is that 90% of killings in the Black community are from Black people. Black people kill each other 90% of the time. And the actual number of killings that happen between a Black and a white person is like 14%, 14 or 18%, something like that. So it boils down to, as G was saying, it boils down to us loving us. We don't love us. We don't love the people that look like us. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. All I could do is, it goes to what somebody used to say to me that used to mentor me. Change comes from within, not from without. If you don't have no sense of self within, how are you going to change somebody else? How are you going to tell somebody else you need to get yourself together? A lot of our leaders and stuff like that, not any leaders in my community, because I am very cautious and very conscious about who I surround myself with. And I only surround myself around people who know what's going on with our people and that really focus on how do we change the state and the self-confidence and the sense of self for our people, who really care about our self-determination and who we were ordained to be from the get-go. That's literally the only people I surround myself with. But the thing is, you cannot tell somebody who is comfortable with being around people that are not about that and tell them that they need to change. You have to want that change. That change comes from within and not from without. You can't force somebody to put that within themselves. That person has to be receptive and wanting to see different, because they've seen all this negative shit their whole life. So they're tired of seeing negative shit. They want to see positive shit. They want to do positive shit. So.
Absolutely. I agree with Tap on that one. You can't help people who don't want to be helped. And the sad truth in that is that a lot of people don't know they need to be helped because they've been comfortable forever. All they've ever known is comfortability. They've been comfortable in the struggle because their parents struggled and were comfortable in it, and now they're continuing that cycle and are comfortable in struggling. And so a lot of people don't even know they need help because they don't know that there's better out there, because they don't step outside of their comfortability to learn and see that there is better out there and there's other opportunities out there. But they've been so comfortable for so long is that they're okay with where they're at, and they're just going to continue to live paycheck to paycheck and pedal to post and robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it's like you have to step outside of your comfortability to find something different. And by that I mean there's 49 other states than the one you live in. And that's exactly what I mean by that. Stepping outside of your comfortability. There are 49 other states than the one you live in hundreds of countries. Go somewhere before you become a felon and can't. That's also the problem. So many, Black males and females also become felons before they even get to the point where they can travel and see the world. And once you catch that one felony, it's easy to get that second one, and then that third one. Now you're living your life. You're living your life on eggshells, trying to make sure you don't catch that third felony. And most felonies, they got to stay in your record for 10 years or whatever. So you miss that opportunity to travel at a young age and step outside of your comfortability and see something different.
Nah, I mean, it all goes back to what my brother Deloy said. We have to unlearn that mentality.
Yep.
You feel me? And then relearn the one that was truly made for us. Absolutely. Kings and queens.
I love our people, but at the same time, I'm telling you, it goes back to what G was saying, man. You can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are comfortable with being drug dealers because they see that revenue that's coming in. A lot of sisters are comfortable with being prostitutes because it's quick money. All they have to do is go outside. It's sad to see.
It's sad. It's sad.
But speaking to that point of, there's 50 other states to live in, more than just that one that you live in. My uncle recently got out of prison. Like, I talked to him last night. And I was like, when can we, travel to go to other states and stuff? And what people don't realize is when you're a felon and you're on parole, you're forced to live and be in that state that you're in for a certain amount of time. Yeah. My uncle, I told him, you're more than welcome to come out here, and just to stay out here for a little while, see what it's like, see if you like it, so on and so forth.
Hey.
But because he's like, and I'm telling him, like, the environment that you're in, because you're from Phoenix, because you're from Arizona, you know where all the spots are.
Yeah.
You know where all the spots are. But because, he's comfortable with being there, he doesn't want to leave. But the thing is, what people also don't realize, because I've lived in many different states, when you are accustomed to a certain crowd, no matter what state,
you can find them. You'll find them anywhere.
You'll find them in the same system that was oppressing you in the state that you're in. I guarantee you, there's another system set up in that state that you move to that's there to oppress you. Because at the end of the day, we're oppressed no matter where we go. You can't escape. It's not something that you could just move up out of.
That's the sad thing, that no matter where you go, the hood is the hood. No matter where you go, the hood is gonna be the hood. And if you are accustomed to that life and you're comfortable in that life, wherever you go, you're gonna find it. Whether you find it on purpose, accident, however it happened, you end up wherever I go, I always find the hood. I don't know how I always end up in the hood, but I do, and it happens. And it never really happens on purpose. Moving out here, down the hood, you feel me? I found it, okay? Found the hood living out here in Missouri. When I went and visited in California, how we just turned one block and ended up in the hood, it just happened. We're driving, just visiting, touristing, and we turn a block and we deep in the hood. I'm like, whoa. And I mean deep in the hood. It was late at night. We heard the gunshots. I said, this is the Popeyes you wanted to go to? It was like, it's the only one that the GPS pulled up. I'm like, okay. All right, here it is. I went to Ohio, found the hood in Ohio. So it's like wherever you go, there's gonna be a hood, but it's who you choose to associate yourself around. If you leave your comfortability and you go somewhere else, and you go somewhere where you don't know anybody, you have that choice and that freedom to not socialize in your comfortability, and to step outside of yourself and find a different group of people to socialize with. Not all Black people live in the hood. You can find Black people that don't live in the hood. You just have to be willing to do the work and find it and buckle down on it. I mean, it's the mentality. It's the mentality. You have to want it. You have to want it. If you don't want it, you're not gonna get it.
Absolutely, but I want to go ahead and dive into this video because it will be more of a talking point on that. I'm so sorry, y'all. I just choked on a piece of cucumber. Almost died.
All good. And to our viewers, we will be part 2 in this, and we will have a guest. Deloy will be reaching out to you as well. So tap into that Friday.
Okay. All praise. So yes, this is a good video. Just wanted to pull it up real quick. Hold on. I can't make it expand. Did it expand? No. No. Okay, there we go.
I don't even know how to love you, but I'm ready,
So ready
to learn.
to learn.
Yes, I'm ready. I don't even know how to
It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah, all my beautiful black people. Okay, so tell me what the heck does it mean to be black? Is it rap, music, or crap shooting? Fathers choosing to leave and children losing. The family unit has depleted. We're defeated as a culture. Plus, Big Brother always got us looking over our shoulders. As I get older, sweat gets colder. Unless you wear this war paint, please don't say racism's over. Cause when I walk in the store, try to find my family food, they follow me. I call them out, and somehow I'm the one who's rude. My father served the nation, so me, I serve the nation. But the nation has replaced equality with toleration. So every day I wake up and tell myself I'm the man. And if your skin is lacking pigment, then you just can't understand. Brother Malcolm said, by any means, all I see is enemies. My brothers and sisters, we got to change our self-identities. If we ain't got us, then who else gonna have our back? We the only ones who really understand what's on this track, right? It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people. Yeah. It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people. Okay, our history don't start with slavery, but tell me why that's news to me. Nobody ever told us growing up we came from kings and queens. They never taught from my perspective our story. Till the lion tells the tale, the hunter always gets the glory, huh? But we are much more than just a perception of an oppressive system designed to get us arrested, keep us apart, children neglected. See, we are more than just the mask that we put on to make some cash and bring it home to spend it fast until it's gone. They don't want us to wake up. They tell us get your cake up. All your dreams can be achieved with pale makeup. The miseducation of my people has took our vision. But if we look back, then we can find out what we've been missing. We've all fallen victim to the design of a system that redefines the community of the minds of our people. But this is equal. No change needed when our minds are feeble. This world is evil, but some knowledge can make you lethal. You know what I mean? It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people. Yeah. It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people. So who are you and who am I? We're done with all the lies. Our eyes are open to the madness, so let's focus on the prize. If we don't put in work to reestablish family ties, then we doomed to walk the earth with no heritage to define. Be against our demise. I want our people to rise. I want us to all survive. But we have to free our minds, because they got us in the binds. And they keep us wasting time, provoke us acting out of line, and dimming stars that's meant to shine. Promoting ignorance is what's relevant. Suppression of our only leaders seems to be prevalent. Another Dr. King, I have a dream, will be heaven sent. But y'all, it's up to us to persevere with benevolence. Give each other strength to keep climbing, so when they bury us, we can use this solid investment as wings to carry us. Give each other strength to keep climbing, so when they bury us, we can use this solid investment as wings to carry us. Yeah. It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people. Yeah. It's time to wake up, black people. Yeah. All my beautiful black people.
So y'all, that video is old, like 2016, 2018, right? But the relevancy is still prevalent, right? There's just a lot of good things in that video. One of my favorite quotes though of all time is Harriet Tubman's. I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. That speaks to the mentality. Today, so many Black people don't even realize and recognize that they are slaves. They are still slaves to the system. And it's like the song. I don't even know how to love you. I don't even know how to love you. That's Black people saying to Black people, I don't even know how to love you. I want to love you. I want to build you up. I want to see us do better, but I don't even know how. We don't even know how to love each other because slavery has broken us down so bad that we have lost the love that we once had for each other when we were kings and queens before we were brought to this country, when we were a community, when we were a family, when we were a nation of one. And we not no more. So it's like now I don't even know how to love you. I don't even know the proper, I don't have the proper tools to properly love Black people the way we need to in order for us to gain that identity so that we get back our purpose and push the discipline that we're meant to have. I don't know, y'all.
I mean, just another quote that the rapper said, he said, another Martin King, I have a dream would be heaven sent, but it's up to us to keep it relevant.
Yeah.
You feel me? That just speaks like, it would be, I feel like the purpose of that is, to have another leader to get us on one path would be, ideally good. But for it to really come into fruition and for it to really be powerful and then, eventually to actually make a change, it's up to all of us to be on one accord and to have one mission, one goal, one understanding, one love. You feel me? As soon as we start to love each other, then we can start working on that path that will ultimately lead us to our rightful place in this society. You feel me? I don't want my people to just survive. I want us to thrive.
I feel that. And, very good points that were made. It just speaks to what type of revolutionary are you? You know what I'm saying? There's the Martin Luther Kings. I believe that equality is going to be the way for us to get ourselves to a good point. And then there's the Malcolm X's. And then there's the Fred Hamptons, the Huey Newtons. There's the Bobby Seals, you know what I'm saying? Who's still alive, by the way, who nobody really hears anything from. And he lives in Boulder. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. He lives in Colorado, y'all. Just throwing that out there. But I mean, and it's crazy because I really never really understood that Fred Hampton was basically on the same page as Martin Luther King, like trying to combine those people that are oppressed. I can honestly say the type of revolutionary that I am, and just speaking from a worldly sense, I would say that I'm on the same page as Malcolm X because, there's no way that you're going to be someone's oppressor and somebody's savior at the same time. There's no way that you could combine the struggle of white people that are being oppressed and Black people that are being oppressed. It's two different types of things, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there is something called the phenomenality of whiteness in American society and how Black people are treated and how white people are treated. There's no way that we will ever be equal without one of us gotta go. And I would never want it to be my people, you know what I'm saying? People that have been held down for generations to generations. My favorite revolutionary of all time, like my number one, is Jesus Christ. Because not one, he spoke against the oppression of his people, who are Black people, by the way. He spoke out against the oppression of his people, and he told us that we need to stop trying to. There's something that says, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." he kept trying to wake our people up and tell them not to pick those ways, because those are not the ways that are going to get us out of the state of oppression that we're in 2020 and 2021 and way back then in BC and AD and all that stuff. So, and all that in between, because I don't even know what they call the time during Christ. It was a short period, but it was still a period.
And to speak to, both points, we had a guest on our virtual artist storytelling. He said, revolutionaries used to have that willpower to die for what they believed in. What are you going to die for? What are you willing to die for? And that's the thing. Black people don't want to die for Black people, but we're okay with killing each other. So we don't want to lay on the line and get on the front line and fight for one another, but we're complacent and comfortable with fighting on each other and killing one another off, rather than dying for the protection of our people and the rise and the upcoming of our people. It's like, what is it that you would be? Because when you think about it, being a revolutionary is scary. I get that 100%. Being born in America Black is scary. So why not maximize your odds?
Right.
Maximize your odds. Do something with your power while you're here on this earth. Figure it out. Do something more than what you're doing. Because we need, and it's like, the same guest, Dr. DeLacy, he said, speaking to our generation, that our elders failed us, in the sense that we should be on the front lines, being revolutionaries, burning shit down, and so I feel failed, right? So I don't want to fail the next generation. I don't want to fail the next generation. I don't want to limit them and make them feel like they can't do something because of their age or because of their circumstances, right? You feel a certain way, you feel passionate about something. Tell me what you need me to do to help you get to where you gotta go. That's what our generation has to focus on, because now it's up to us to make sure that the generation after us doesn't fail. We can't take any more losses. We just can't afford them. We can't take any more losses as a Black community in whole, from coast to coast. We cannot afford any more losses. So now it's like, it's up to us to focus on the next generation and to be the change in our generation. Tell me what are you passionate about, and how can I help you get to where you gotta go, so that we as a community rise and grow and do better. We've already been failed. That's been established. So now we know that we can't wallow in that sorrow. All right, cool. We were failed. Now let's pick up the slack and figure it out and pick it up. We got to pick up the baton. It was dropped. It was just dropped. We got to pick it up.
And just to add to that, you feel me? Other cultures, and exactly what you were saying, other cultures do exactly as she said that we don't. You feel me? They'll ask, oh, what do you need so you could be successful? Oh, I got that. You feel me? The Asian community, Hispanic community, Indian community, like they darn near every community does this, and they keep their money circulating within each other. But ourselves, you feel me? A lot of our people have the same ideas. Why not put some money together and then put both of our names on it?
Absolutely.
So this business can continue to grow, and then we can employ our Black people and keep our money circulating. You feel me? That's a concept that we don't understand truly.
The mindsets.
It is a mindset, and definitely, I think that what it is that a lot of times in our community, what happens is everybody's looking out for self. About trying to shine and floss and do all that on the next person. You know what I'm saying? And when that person tries to say anything to you, they're trying to steal your shine, or they're hating. So.
And it's not always the case. Even Black people are not always hating on the next. It's like, maybe I have something to add to what you have. Add value to some. Allow somebody else to add value to your life. because we don't all have it all on our own. So allow somebody else. That's why our virtual artist storytelling is so dope, and I love that because we, like, especially us three, you feel me? We've been rocking it for a minute now. We get to constantly hear other people's testimonies and what they've gone through in life and how they've got to where they are. And it's like, you know, we hear some similarities in people's stories, but it's the differences, right? It's the differences in how we're all Black and we come up similar in some ways,
Right.
but it's the differences that make us that community that we need to be. And, you know, it's what makes us grow and continue to be better. And what we do is that we get to hear other people's testimonies. We get to listen to what somebody else went through and take that in and take something from that and build from it. And
Exactly.
it's something about that. It's just something about actually being able to, like, damn.
It's like we
I'm
use
not
our
alone.
platform. It's like we use our platform to build up both of ours. You
Yeah.
feel me?
We're not counselors, but you get something out of just somebody hearing what you're saying
That's it.
and
Mhm.
understanding where you come from and what you've been through. Because a lot of times people just need somebody to listen, but
That's it.
because people be so busy and have all this other stuff going on, we don't get that.
And it's crazy because the world we live in today, that busy is such an excuse. That is such an excuse. You know, so many things. Get you some headphones. You ain't gotta watch. You ain't gotta watch us.
Just
But
listen.
Just listen. That's it. That's all it takes is to have a listening ear. That's all it takes is to have a listening ear, and then an active listening ear. An active listening ear is what makes changes. That's what makes changes, because you're actively listening to the problems and the possible outcomes and solutions.
And to know that it's something different from your circumstance. You feel me? Because we have a bunch of people, our guests that come on that come from a lot of our circumstances, but it's just they made something out of it. They didn't let it define them. They weren't comfortable. We have a whole bunch of uncomfortable guests.
Oh.
Man.
And none of them do the same thing. None of them have the same success story. Not one person we have had of our 100 guests, not a single one of them have had the same success story.
Absolutely.
No.
But But this will conclude our podcast for today, and that was a perfect end note to plug all of our platforms, because we do have the virtual artist storytelling coming up this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But please be sure to follow. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we do have dope guests all week too, as we've been having. Hopefully y'all can tap in. You feel me? But we have Mac will make a chess move, Mac will make a culture move, virtual artist storytelling, pushing pawns. Make sure to visit our website at www.macum303. I'm sorry. Make sure to follow our Twitter at Macum303, Instagram Macum303, Pinterest Macum303. Subscribe to our YouTube at Make a Chess Move Macum, where we upload all our virtual artist storytellings. And with that being, make sure to cop some Macum apparel as well. And until next time, we will see you on Friday. Same time, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until then, y'all Macum out there. Peace out. Appreciate